Hello everybody, I'm Grandmaster Mircea Parligras, and today I want to talk about the game Vachier-Lagrave against Wesley So, played in Airthings Masters in 2020. This is the first game of the uh, second second match in the knockouts, and Wesley So was had won the first game, so had won the first match. So now Vachier had to come back, and okay, let's start. I hope everything is fine with the broadcast because. This is the first time I'm doing it for my YouTube channel. So just a moment, I want to review it. I want to see if it actually works. All right, I'm still not on Lichess, but maybe it just takes some time. Okay, so let's start, I guess. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. Well, it was a Berlin, very solid opening for black. And Vachier decides to go for the ending. So d4, knight d6, bishop takes, pawn takes. I'll not talk too much about the opening. I'd rather want to comment on the ending instead. So here white played h3. Normal moves are also knight c3, but as we can see in this game, white was able to play knight d2 at some point, although it's not really a big deal, but this h3 is useful anyway. So black goes bishop d7, now rook d1, bishop e7, g4. This is all theory, and I think it's considered normal for both sides. It is good for black to exchange this knight, so knight h4, bishop takes, and there we go, knight e2. Now white has an idea to go maybe to e4, but also he keeps an option to play knight f3 as well. And yes, I appeared on the first page, so that is good. All right, and here black has to avoid the spin, and he can go either way. He can go to c8 or to e8. It's a matter of taste. In the game, black preferred to go king c8, and white played knight to e4. If instead he goes knight f3, then bishop e7, bishop g5. It is good for white to exchange this dark square bishop, but also it can help him activate this knight. And here it's good for black to go bishop c5. For example, if rook e8 would be tempting, because if bishop e7, then rook e7, the rook is active. But white can slowly build up his position, rook d2, rook d1, and then actually black is in trouble. So bishop c5 would be normal, then rook d3, bishop e6, bishop e3, and here he can black can even exchange the bishops. King e7 brings the king in the center, and black is doing fine in this ending. So in the game, that's why in the game white played knight e4 instead. Well, obviously the idea is to jump bishop to g5, and here black played b6. Obviously he can stop this bishop g5 with h6, but also what he played in the game is good. He wants to prepare this b6 is a very useful move anyway for black. He can go bishop e6 and then move the king away, or even go c5 and bishop c6. So c5 and bishop c6 is the idea. White goes bishop g5 now to exchange the bishops. What else? And yeah, this seems a bit difficult for black, but now he has a nice reply. He goes h6, and yeah, in the game white just took on f7. If instead there is knight e4, if he avoids taking the pawn, then black can go h5, for example, f3, and even c5 with a good play. So more or less white has to take that pawn, and he goes knight f7. Well, I think black was precise here. He played rook e8. If instead rook f8, then we can get a position similar to the game. After e6, white gives the pawn back, bishop e6, and then knight e5. And yeah, we will get this position like in the game, where white has a majority of pawns on the queen side, on the king side, with knight versus bishop. So probably this is slightly better for white. Anyway, black went rook e8, which is better, and now he's planning to trap the knight by bishop e6. The knight has no place to go. In the game, white decided to bring back the knight into play, and he played e6. I don't really believe in these moves like f4 in order to sacrifice the knight and then get a nice pawn chain, because I don't think it's enough for an advantage. So f4, black can go bishop e6, knight takes h6, pawn takes, and well, it's 2 pawns for the bishop, but actually it's 3 pawns here. But I think black can just give back the bishop at the right moment, and then the position is about equal. So maybe here, if f5, well, of course white would prepare this, but probably it's all the same. So black can immediately give back the bishop. Pawn takes, then rook takes e5. Hello there. Rook takes e5, yeah, with an equal ending. Okay, and that's why in the game black after rook e8, white played e6 to give back the pawn, but save the knight. bishop takes e6, knight e5. So now we have this position with very interesting position actually. Bishop versus knight, but white has an extra pawn on the king side, while black has an extra pawn on the queen side, but it's not so easy to take advantage of that pawn. So I think this on the long run this ending could be more unpleasant for black. So that's why here black had Wesley So had a good move that he missed, and it was a chance to avoid this kind of ending, and he could have played bishop takes a2. In the game he played king b7, but instead bishop takes a2, then the knight is under attack. Obviously white should take on c6, then king to b7, because if we move to bishop, then a7 pawn is falling, so king b7 is good. But now the knight is under attack, and if the knight moves away, like knight d4, let's say, we can also move the bishop somewhere. I don't know, bishop e6, bishop g8, whatever we want. So white has a trick here. He can try knight a5 check, and in order to double black's pawns, but well, black didn't get rid of the double pawns, but now there is a strong move rook e2, and followed by rook f8. Also c2 pawn is hanging, and well, black has enough activity here for the damage structure. So I think this was a missed opportunity, but then again they were playing rapid games with little time on the clock. The t-shirt aged pretty well. Yeah. Is keeping up good. All right, so black goes king b7, then white just defended the knight, so now this knight is central here, and Vachier is trying to first of all to consolidate this knight on e5, and then little by little just push the pawns on the king side. All right, black goes g5, obviously not allowing white to do his plans. Then rook a81, a5. Basically now both sides are improving their positions, so a3, this is useful just in case black was threatening bishop a2, and if b3, then a4, and the bishop can get out. So a3 is good move, bishop g8, f3. Well, little by little both sides are improving their position. Rook e6, just to double the rooks. King f2. Yeah, I slightly prefer white here, but probably black has his own counterplay. In the game he played rook f8. If rook e8 here, well, there is knight d3 obviously, but there is also a more fancy knight d7, and if rook e7, then just knight f6. So Rook f8 happens in the game. Rook e3. a4. Of course, black, although the pawns are blocked here, black is trying to push the pawns all the way. c3. Here it was interesting to play, for example, c5 just to push those pawns, but he went rook a8. Here white got on the 7th rank with the rook d7, which is a good move, I think. You want to do that, but it was probably more cautious to go king g3 first, and then maybe prepare f4 or h4. Oh, hello there. Yes, one day I want to go live on Twitch, and other days I want to go live on YouTube, maybe show a game or something like this. I think it's better. I want also to add some videos on YouTube. So yeah, king g3. You are at the right place, Steve X. Rook a8, then rook d1, and yeah, h4, f4 are the moves. Are white's next moves. I know, I recognized you, Connor. And for example, rook f6 to stop f4, but then h4 is coming, and white has options to either take on g5 or even go h5 and then try to go for the h6 pawn somehow. Alright, so white goes rook d7. And here it was, perhaps it was better for black to go c5 or b5, just to, okay, c5 maybe allows knight c4. Hello Ripunj. So yeah, today is going to be a short stream. I just want to show this game, and we are halfway through it. But yeah, I want this game to remain on YouTube. So yeah, if you have any questions related to the game, just let me know. So maybe b5 was more interesting because it stops knight c4. Anyway, in the game, black goes rook e8. And here white has only move, but it's good enough. He played knight c4. Black, Wesley So played b5. Now if rook f8, then probably it's a good thing to bring this knight to e4. So something like knight d2, takes, and yeah, maybe followed by knight e4. Anyway, this looks better for white. So black went b5, and now it's forced to go rook e6. Rook takes. Yeah, here it was an interesting moment. So white had a choice, and he went for knight e3, but there was some other move here. There was maybe rook g7 was more interesting, because there is no rook e8 since there is knight d6 check, and so black has to take on c4, then rook g8, And yeah, this is a difficult position to assess. It's obviously better for white, but I'm not sure it's winning. Like the most precise could be rook d6, rook e2. Then there is just check on e6, so he has to go rook e8, and then something like c5 and bringing the king into play. But yeah, it looks very good for white, but I'm not sure it's enough to win. Okay, so in the game, white went knight e3 instead. Rook f6, obviously he wants to be able to move that bishop. King g3, king b6, rook d8. Now bishop e6, he wants to keep f5 square under control. Rook d4. He is bringing, so Vachier is bringing the rook to e4. This is good maneuver, and maybe he can also prepare f4 this way. Wesley So went c5, maybe also bishop b3, then f4 and c5, rook e4. This is slightly better for white, but still black should be in the game. He has ideas here to push on the queen side. Anyway, we saw c5, rook e4, c6. Maybe also king c6 deserves attention, just to bring the king in the center. But yeah, little by little, black's position is getting more difficult. So c6, rook e5, and now he made a mistake. He played king c7. He had nice resource here. He could have played b4. Then yeah, it's a pawn sacrifice, but actually now the black king is one step away from getting to those pawns. Well, it's not possible right now, but also for white it's not so easy to make progress. For example, bishop b3 here, and yeah, it's not easy for white either. For example, knight f5. No other. I see no other breakthrough. So knight f5, then bishop d5, and idea is to bring the king. But of course, especially with low time on the clock, it's difficult to decide upon b4. So he goes king c7, but this was bad. Well, there is a trap here actually. If rook c5, then king d6 just traps the rook. So he goes knight f5 instead, and now he wants to play either f4 or h4, and already white has a large advantage. Black is forced to take on f5. Bishop takes, pawn takes, and now, although he has these double pawns, he will be able to advance the pawns on the king side. So king d6, f4. f4 was very important, and now his idea is to go either h4 or king to g4. In the game, black took on f4. Yeah, it's understandable decision, but then black's position is very bad. Maybe rook f8 was putting more resistance, but after h4, pawn takes, h4, king takes. Well, the white king is very active and black has no counterplay, so maybe a move like c4. It's just to put black in Zugzwang, and yeah, pretty much if he moves, then rook e6, and white is just winning. Anyway, pawn takes f4, it's a normal move. King takes f4, and now it's a big difference. Although black is not a pawn down, it looks like he's a pawn down because this f5 pawn is very strong here. So rook f8, rook e6, king d5. He is giving up the h6 pawn, but he is hoping for counterplay, which I think is a good decision. And now he went b4, and this is an important moment because Vachier took on b4, which seems very normal. On the other hand, is giving black a lot of counterplay, and it makes the win much more difficult. An easy way to win was to go h4, for example, king c4, then just rook takes e6, king b3. Yeah, now just take on b4, rook b6. This is just winning the. He can simply push the h and f pawns. Or also other moves were winning, but just not to take on b4. For example, rook g6. Then if king c4, there is taking everything, and rook g2, and again he can just push the pawns. And if here rook g6, b takes a3, pawn takes, then probably the most precise is rook g3, and well, black is kind of stuck here while white's pawn is pushing. But anyway, taking on b4 seems very natural. On the other hand, it also gives black a lot of counterplay. Pawn takes, and now rook b8. So black is going to take back the b4 pawn, and then also take the b2 pawn. So now it's a pawn race. Rook b4 check. And well, where should white go with the king? Is not easy. In the game, white went king f5, which seems logical because it doesn't allow the black king to reach e6, for example. But after king f5, the position is a draw. The good move was king g5 here. When after rook b2, for example, f7, rook g2, there is king f7, king g7 already, check doesn't help. So a3, and just rook there, rook g1, and now, yeah, followed by, yeah, and then just push the h pawn, and it's winning. Or after king g5, there is king e6, but then again, something like king g6, rook b2, rook h4. Well, there is rook g2, there is rook g4. So a3, f7. This is just winning for white. But not okay. This is winning for white, but not so easy. Rook g4 takes. yeah, and this ending is winning. For example, queen f5 or g5 is winning, or queen f5 with g5. But yeah, there is some work here because black also has a pawn, but it should be winning. Well, he made the win much more difficult after taking on b4. But that was the only chance. King g5. Now king f5. Now it's a draw. And the difference is like f7 like before. There's rook f2, king g6, and king e6 now. So that's why he needed to have after check he needed to have king to f6. All right, what to do? He played rook h8, check, king g6, and of course the mistakes are very normal because probably they were very long time, so it's completely understandable. Anyway, I think this was a high quality game for a rapid game, like 15 plus 10. a3, rook 8, a2, f7. Yeah, now black also has his chance with the a2 pawn, so it's a draw, but it's not so easy. So king e6, rook e8, and yeah, he went king d5, which seems logical, but probably it was easier to just go to d7 instead, just to take care of white's pawn, and then rook e1, c5, h4. This was a draw. Check. So if white wants something, he has to go in front of the pawn. But after rook h2, black can just take the pawn with a draw. So, but he went king d5. King d5 is understandable. Rook e1, and now it was the decisive mistake. He played rook g2. Instead, okay, rook f3 is making a draw. Like this, because there is rook a3, and then king e6, followed by rook a7. But also move like c5, it's a draw here. King g7, c4, for example, queen. Black is just in time in this race. Okay, here c2, h6. Here he has to be careful, because if king d3, it's a mistake. There is rook a1. So only king c3, but it's enough. Rook g1, king d2, and yeah, it's just a draw. There's this one. Black is in time. Anyway, so it wasn't easy, and in the game black played rook g2, decisive mistake, and now king f6, rook f2. Yeah, this is the reason. The king goes to e7, and there is no rook e2 check, and now f8 is a threat. So actually these checks helped white a great deal. So now he went for this anyway, but after a1 queen, then white also put a queen there, and here there is of course one important detail, not king f7 because of queen f3 and take on e2, but king e8 is decisive, and now queen 8, there is king f7, and white is completely winning. So this was very, very interesting ending. Well, there were some mistakes, but it's completely understandable for a rapid game, and as I said before, I think the quality of the game was good. And I think also the ending was instructive. Yeah. This is all. This is all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.